Well, it took far longer than we intended, but we are back with Outside the Cinema, officially now, episode 800.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Man, some of you were probably thinking, I don't know if they're going to get there.
Or
maybe this week is going to be 799.75.
Yeah.
No, it's episode 800. What do you think about that,
That's a
Chris?
lot. There's a lot of shows.
It's too many.
And I'm
too
okay
many.
with it. You know
Let's
what?
be
The
honest.
the shows where we covered good movies, I would say is about 5/8 of
5/8. Oh, I
no.
That's,
Sorry, I went the wrong way on that.
yeah.
3/8
the bad films.
3/8 of our show was good movies.
Yeah, we had a run early in the show. You know, in the first year before you were the official co-host, you were on the show a bunch of times, but when we had former co-host Ryan, we were able to really like bang out a lot of those really awesome classics that at the time were not as well known as they are now, because just in the 15 years we've done the show, cult films have been able to just get to so many more people just between, in the 15 years we've been on the air, the advent of DVDs and Blu-rays that took over and then switched over to streaming, and then the massive use of torrenting to get a hold of a lot of those movies, and now most of them are available on streaming services.
Yeah, I was going to say, then it went Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Pluto, Tubi, and you can still find most things, but there's a lot of homemade shit out there still.
Yeah, and that's a thing. That's a thing, man. But what are you gonna do? More people making movies means that overall there should be more good movies.
You know what?
But overall,
here's the thing. It's absolutely great to have an idea and want to make a movie. I love that. There are practically unknown people on YouTube who are creating fictional worlds, and I am foaming at the mouth for like the next chapter of some of this stuff, because they're not beholden to any rules on YouTube. The story can go,
except for the massive amount of rules that you have to follow to be on YouTube.
So story-wise, they're pretty much not limited. I mean, obviously nudity, whatever. I don't know. I don't make fictional stuff for YouTube. All I've been posting is from the PS5 funny shit that happens when I play Spider-Man. I've only got 3 videos, but they're funny. I never thought I'd ever post gameplay footage. But anyway, what was my point was that, what were we talking about before this? Oh,
more movies that are made.
Yeah. The ones that are good and successful that I like, not that I just like good and successful stuff, but the ones that I'm following on YouTube, like, they're not adhering to story tropes or anything like that. They're just doing their idea. And they are capable of doing the whole thing, because like some of it is just like first person made in Unreal Engine 3 or Blender or whatever. But there's stories going. So, but a lot of this shit that you see on Tubi, for instance, is, hey, I think I know how to double this $5,000. Right? It's a lot of, I have an idea, or I can make that better, or what if we did this instead? But they don't bring anybody in. When you're doing live action, there's so many more things that you have to control. It's not like in a CG environment where you're like, okay, so the lighting is going to be this for 36 hours straight, so we don't have to worry about anything. I don't know. I guess following things in the way they've always been done kind of stagnates a little, I guess is what I'm saying. And horror movies definitely have stagnated in this area of just tropes and I almost said stereophonics. What's the word I'm looking for? Stereotypes. Different types of stereos. Yes. But I don't know what my point was. There's a lot of crap out there, and years and years ago, I I decided for myself privately that I'm only going to watch bad movies if they're for the show or if I'm super interested in them. I'm not going to watch stuff because everybody else is on it. Does The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent look interesting? Yes. Am I too close to the people that think Nicolas Cage is some sort of acting god who's doing his own thing and is brilliant? Nah, I don't buy into that. I'm not that kind of person.
You hurt my soul. You have cut me deep,
I like
friend.
Nicolas Cage, but I don't think Mandy was an insane performance. I don't think his performance in Color Out of Space was peak Nicolas Cage. Like, he freaked out when his girlfriend was burned alive in front of him and he got drunk in a bathroom. Okay. So who hasn't done that?
Sounds like a regular Nicolas Cage night.
That's a normal reaction to a cult killing your girlfriend in front of you. You forge an axe. By the way, needed some grip tape. I said that the first time. And then you go out and slaughter them. That's normal. Nicolas Cage's behavior in Face Off, though, fucking insane. That was...
Mom and Dad is I think, actually. You want to talk peak Nicolas Cage? I think
the
Mom and Dad
problem with that,
it.
though, is that he's through the script forced to be like that. It's written for him to be that way.
Right.
Face Off, he was a villain, and he cartoonified a cartoon version of Cesar Romero's Joker, and then made him a pervert and ran with it. And that's crazy Nicolas Cage to me. Like, I think his role in Renfield, like, that's what I expect from him.
I actually haven't watched it.
I haven't either, because I heard it wasn't that great. But from the trailer and what everybody's saying, he's crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. He's Dracula. There's a little bit of, righteous egotism when you're Dracula. I think any immortal creature would be a little self-centered and egotistical, wouldn't they?
Maybe.
I mean, you know more than everybody else in the room, unless you're Laszlo and you're just a dumb fucking donkey.
All right, then. You can
Anyway.
take it that way.
What are we doing?
Well, I'm going
How
to plug
did we get there?
the Woodsman.
Go ahead.
I'm going to plug the Woodsman. Whatever we're doing, it's stopping, and I'm going to plug the
fine,
Woodsman.
'cause
So,
I don't
hey,
know.
I'd mentioned it on the show last week. So if you go on to YouTube to watch Kyle Kuchta's
How do you say his fucking name? Would you just tell me for...
I'm not going to tell
All right,
you.
I'm gonna ask
No.
him right now then. No, I'm not. That would
Go
be
ahead. He's
insulting.
at work. He won't respond. How do you say your name, kid?
I mean, because I don't want to say it wrong. You know my name. I've had problems in the
do.
past.
Breichelmeyer. Breichelmeyer.
Oscar Mayer was a big one.
Oscar Mayer, Breichelmeyer.
Piss.
If you
was
want,
also my
so
first
you
name for a while.
here's the thing. Okay, listen. I don't necessarily feel like I ask for a lot. So if you search on YouTube, I do ask for a lot.
You demand. It's different.
Yes. If you go to YouTube and you search and you want to watch The Woodsman and you type in The Woodsman, you're not going
Do
to
you
find
like
it.
Kevin Bacon?
Yes, and also a bunch of other random
Like
things
people chopping down
that are
trees,
not-
right?
that are not the exclusive Dark Matters release of The
Yes.
Woodsman from OTC Industries. You need to search The Woodsman and then just put Dark Matters and it'll show up. Here's the thing, and here's what I'm going to ask of you guys. First, please watch the short. You guys are going to enjoy it, I promise. It's a horror comedy. It's fun. It's well made. It looks awesome. The lead actor's incredible. Kyle did an incredible job with the script. I did a great job with the stuff I shot on it. I mean, it's
I'm
good
gonna make
stuff.
it
You guys will like
easy
it, I
for
promise.
people, and I am going to copy and paste it into our group, which I'm sure you have done already.
I think it's actually tagged at the top. It's a pinned post if
All
I'm
right.
not
Well, I'm
mistaken.
going to post it anyway, and it'll be
Do it
not
again. Yeah,
pinned.
doesn't
so
But here's what I'm asking of you guys. If you could watch it, awesome, amazing, thank you. Leave a comment and like the video. And I hate being like and subscribe. If you could subscribe to Dark Matters, that's great too. Trust me, Carl and the crew over there are putting out awesome horror shorts for you guys to check out. If you subscribe to it, they put out, a few things a month. They'll be right in your feed. You can watch them as they come. But this is where it's important. when you search The Woodsman, it doesn't show up because it doesn't have enough engagement yet for the algorithm to pick it up. So if you like it, is probably the best. And if you comment on it, that's going to be the second best. Then obviously subscriptions to the channel are also going to fall in there. But if you could do those three things, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. It would be huge. Because once it gets picked up by the algorithm, it'll start to get picked up by more people. And that's unfortunately, that's just the world we live in now. It could be the best movie ever made, which, I mean, it might be. I don't know.
It's not for you to say.
Put it in the comments if you're not sure. Maybe put it in the comments. But like, if the algorithm doesn't, I mean, the things that I've found on YouTube, just kind of scraping the barrel of other random things that like, I'm like, how have I never seen this before? Because the algorithm doesn't care about me seeing it because it doesn't have enough engagement. So the engagement on it is massively important.
Yeah. And everybody has more than one YouTube account.
Correct. You're right. I put together an OTC Industries Presents, or I forget exactly what I called it, but I made an OTC playlist of all of the things that OTC has worked on in my YouTube page, on the OTC Industries YouTube page. So there's a playlist there of like 13 or 14 things. It's got a bunch of music videos that I directed, some music videos that Kyle directed. The Film Freaks trailer, The Woodsman is in there. The Woodsman trailer is in there. Safer Spaces is in there. So all the stuff that we've worked on, the Rebuilder live stream that we did, the Newfound Glory one will probably be going in there soon when that's finished up. There'll be a Don't Forget to Leave trailer very, very soon.
Did you know that you can add The Woodsman to your play queue multiple times, right? And then guess what? Start it, mute it after you've watched it 2 or 3 times, and then just let it play over and over again and get the views. Fucking help out people. There we go. This is unmedicated.
Seriously,
it's. I have it running.
Obviously,
look at this. Look.
I have no idea. Everything is so pixelated. I have no idea.
I'm watching it right now without audio, but it's on. You can have all like 3 if you like, is what he says.
You should like and subscribe.
I subscribed the first day you told me it was going on this channel. Yeah.
Good. Carl's a good guy. That's what I do. Carl's a good guy. He'll be on the show at some point too, so.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking. Episode 800, my request is like and subscribe and comment on The Woodsman. I would really get more so. I just really would love to know what you guys think. I'd love to know what you guys think. And again, get us in that algorithm. Maybe somebody will pay us to make one, and we won't have to pay for it out of our pocket.
Nice.
So, okay, done with that. I will mention the Patreon, and I want to thank all of our Patreon members that reached out after we put up last week's show. People really seem to enjoy us opening up there. Me about my health problems, Chris about his personal problems.
It's health.
Oh, not even problems. I'm sorry.
Yours is physical, mine's mental. It's just different.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No. That's fine. It's
because you've got some problems.
I do. But our generation, we didn't grow up talking about the stuff, so it's weird to talk about somebody else's problem. But I admit them. I know them. I know what they are. I'm ashamed, but I'm not embarrassed, I guess is a good way to say it.
Fair.
Because it's really
things are looking up.
They are.
Things are looking up for both of us.
Your every day you notice stuff about yourself that's a little bit better, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've got this issue with my foot from when I'm pretty convinced it started when I was laid up in a hospital bed for 16 days.
Yeah.
Of like my toe, and like I think it's a nerve thing, and like it feels like a sprain in my toe that I had it right when I came home from the hospital and first kind of started walking again, and I was limping like crazy. And then it went away, and then it came back again. Oh. And it feels better today. So at first I got kind of scared that it was kind of like an arthritis thing or something. Okay. But like it legitimately like hurts to the touch and is like red and stuff. So I think it might just be like a sprain or like just the fact that I was off my feet for so long. It kind of just, how it is,
if the muscles get a little weak, they could twist in a weird way. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's more like the joint of my big toe is what it is. But I've had a lot of nerve issues because of my back problems. So But like, yeah, like I was saying last week, how like the side of my leg, side of my leg was still numb. But that's getting better now too. It's still a tiny bit, but nothing like it was. I'm eating more regularly now too, so that's good. Put a couple pounds back on. But yeah, I'm thinking I can probably switch to my high fiber diet later this week, and then hopefully start eating things. We went out for breakfast over the weekend, and I got like a big breakfast with like scrambled eggs and pancakes and bacon, and it was the first time I'd had bacon since I got out of the hospital, or since a week before that. So, and as we all know, if you're a meat eater, bacon is kind of the one thing for most people that it's like, oh yeah,
it should not be a food, but it's the tastiest thing.
Yes, and it was excellent. So, and I know I'm feeling better with that way too. My stomach is still kind of weird, so I'm still watching what I eat. I'm still on a very restrictive diet, but I'm getting there.
Good.
I'm getting there.
Good.
So
good. Yeah.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
After you. I was just going to say, so I wanted to thank all the Patreon members that reached out because a bunch of people did. If you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/outside the cinema, you get for a minimal donation to the show, all of which goes back into keeping the show alive. You get the shows early. You get access to the show archives. You can communicate directly with me. If you want to communicate with Chris, I can hook you up with Chris.
I mean, it's real easy. It's my first initial last name, and then it's Gmail. So,
well, now you don't need to sign up for the Patreon. Thanks, Chris.
They can ask me.
Chris won't respond unless I give the
okay. Exactly. What are they writing me for?
No, they're just saying they feel good about you.
Oh, okay.
They're happy for you. Glad you're dealing with.
Yeah, you don't need to pay Bill to do that, but do it anyway.
No, they wouldn't be paying me. They pay us.
Pay the show.
Literally, I pay all of the fees that we incur for hosting the show.
Speaking of equipment that we've bought for the show,
yeah,
I wrote to Rode 4 weeks ago.
Did you?
I don't do this kind of thing. Like if something breaks, it's like, okay, fine. But
what happened?
The little washer on the front of that headphone jack fell off, right? Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I have nothing else to do. I'm not doing shows right now. So if I have to take the thing apart, because I watched a How to Fix It thing, I wrote to Rode and I'm like, hey, this piece fell off. Can you tell me what size it is or how much to get a new one? And they're like, what's the serial number? I sent him a picture.
Because you're like, I can't.
Because I'm like, well, this is the only way to prove it. Just, that it's here in my house, right? And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll send one to you. Like, okay. And then this is while you were in the ICU, okay? They said, send me the proof of purchase and receipt, and we'll send it right out to you. And I'm like, shit. All right, that idea's done. So I thought about it for 2 days. And I got an email back from them that said, okay, so we understand people get busy. This is just us reminding you. But if everything's all set, we'll close this and call it done. And I wrote back and I'm like, okay, here's the thing. The person who bought this is in the hospital right now. And I can't get anything off of them, but I really need to get this part fixed. So if you can do anything to help me out, let me know. And then I threw in, we've been doing the podcast for 15 years and never missed a fucking week. Now that we have, I can get this fixed. just because I wanted to see what would happen, right? Because
they're a good company,
one plastic part. They wrote back and they're like, I totally get it. What's your address? I fixed it. I also didn't have to take it apart. I kind of teased the opening back, so it was just sticking out of the hole, the jack, and then I managed with a pin, because it has 2 holes in the plastic washer, 2 holes to spin it slowly so it caught it and pulled it forward, and then I used this for that. And then I tightened it up and tightened it again, and now I have a question about the thing that I'm not gonna bother with on the show. I'll ask you after. But It works. They were super awesome. So
yeah, I've had really good luck with the people from Rode and their response. Because I use in the studio, so here's a little, episode 800 behind I use almost exclusively all Rode stuff in the studio now. I have the Rode Procaster 2. You have the Procaster 1. I have the newest Rode low profile mic arm. I use the Rode Pod.
Oh, you
mic.
got a new mic.
I have a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is I'd been using the Shure SM7B for many years, and those are kind of like the gold standard in terms of like vocal and broadcast microphones. But it's not a powered microphone; it's a condenser microphone. So you need to have a mixer or a preamp.
Okay.
That were really strong. And I kind of just at this point I had the arm and I had the Procaster, and I have also for my video work, I have four Rode video mics. I have an NTG2, I have an NTG5. Sorry about that.
I thought that was me.
Nope, that was me. I have an NTG2, an NTG5. I have the Rode Travel NTG. I have the Video Micro, and then I do have 5. I have the Video Go. So I have plenty of Rode stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just get the Rode Pod mic because it's made by the same company and has built in, like, when you go into the settings on the Procaster, there's a setting for the Pod mic. Like. So like it's literally like they are made to work together. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Rode all across the board.
Right.
The only thing in the studio that is not currently Rode is the video switcher that I use, which is an A10 Mini made by Blackmagic. But my video cameras, two of my cinema cameras are Blackmagic.
Right.
So somewhat in there. And Rode doesn't. I don't think Rode makes a video switcher actually. Oh, they just released a couple different things. Maybe they do now, but. Great, that's more money.
We at work for the events we do, we use OBX for video switching, video and audio.
OBX, okay.
I don't know how to use it, and I have to learn. It doesn't seem difficult, but I just have to sit down and figure it out. So, I mean that's
most
all
of those
I know.
They're all very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, do you use OBS at home at all?
No, is it S or X?
Well, there's probably an OBX, but OBS
it's on my desktop here. Let me see. Yeah, it's an S. OBS. Yeah.
Okay, so OBS is freeware. I mean, anyway, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. We've done a number of our live broadcasts using that.
Okay.
It's actually here's the thing with OBS, and if any of you guys that do like video, and I would actually, if any of you guys do like video podcasts or any of that stuff and use any of this stuff, reach out. I'd love to hear what you do and like get a look at what you work on. But they're all very similar, and they are as easy as you want them to be or as difficult as you want them to be.
Like
the things that you can do with OBS is insane when you start to break down like the chroma key work. You can work with it, all the different plugins you can install.
You're talking
with it.
full television production kind of thing.
If you want it to be and you got the right equipment at home, yeah. But you can also make it as simple as one camera, one audio track.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Usually what we have is we got 2 screens going. One is obviously the preview screen. And then it's either one point we had a VR headset running through that to the Omni screen. So it's that kind of thing, and then he's like, okay, so when we move out of the VR and then they switch over and it's a nice smooth transition. So a video engineer is basically what I need to learn how to be.
Yeah. And it's and again, as easy as you want it to be or as difficult as you want it to be. And I just still remember, like, because we've been doing the show for so long, when we were trying to do like video podcasting and stuff before it was really regular, like it was almost impossible to use like multicam angles and like, because no computers, PCs or Macs were powerful enough to handle more than one video source.
True. And then your upload speed was another thing. So that was garbage.
If you were trying to broadcast it, God forbid 30 frames a second.
God forbid.
And you're running at like 14. Right, yeah. Like then it would shoot up to like 30 and then drop back down to 3 and like
it's all looking like Miles Morales in that Spider-Man cartoon movie.
But now you can essentially, like my Mac Studio that I have, I could probably run 4 video feeds just into that. I use the ATM Mini because it's easier because I can just push button everything. But like you could set up, if you have a decent enough MacBook, at least 2 or 3 video feeds. If you have you get like the get a dongle to be able to plug them in, especially if you can do USB-C on all of them. They're going to all move fast enough. But like back when we were trying to do it, man, like
I couldn't.
the money I spent to try to like make that work and like multiple webcams
Yeah.
and just, it was awful.
But now I'm like streaming the high def version of your short, and I'm on a 1080p call with you. The audio hasn't broken at all. I'm scrolling through my orders on Amazon, like all this at once.
You're still at 99% uploaded
Yeah.
too through our Riverside software. So it's not even like we're dropping anything. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's like,
It's like living in the
you
future
remember-
all the time. It's awesome.
do you remember when I first got the Rodecaster, the one that you
Yeah.
have now? Like that was probably what, 4 years ago now, maybe at this point? 3, 4
Maybe,
years ago?
yeah.
No, not
Yeah,
that
I
long.
don't
Maybe
know.
3. Maybe 3. It was before the pandemic, but
Right.
not much before
Yeah.
the pandemic. And like you were still coming to the studio then.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, check out this new mixer I
Yeah.
got. And I'm like, it does this, and you're like, oh my God, it's everything you tried to do 10 years ago in one box.
And it has awesome lights.
Yeah, and it's cool looking.
Lit up. It's got touch screens.
I used to have like 5 mic preamps.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to run it. I'd have to run like a loop of sound from the computer, the computer to like the iPad, then into the mixer, and then from the mixer back into the computer. And now it's just like it all just like everything, is it Bluetooth? Click, great. Oh, it's just got a USB pass through, so you can no problem.
And it records right inside
Crazy.
the thing.
Yeah, and then if you want to bring it with you somewhere, you don't even need to bring a computer. You just stick a little an SD
Yeah.
card in it and you're good to go.
Just swap out the card, dump it, whatever. Yeah.
Also, did you want to record your music on it? Because you can do that too. Like you want to be a music engineer too? Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, patreon.com/outside.
Yeah.
All the money goes back into the show. Thank you so much for your support. This is episode 800. We are going to do Evil Dead 2013, and we're going to do Evil Dead Rise 2023. So I'm going to play the trailer. I'll play the trailer for Evil Dead in a sec. But I just kind of wanted to mention. So when this film came out in 2013, we were very much of the mindset that this is legit. This is like we were all very skeptical.
Yeah.
Because they billed it as the scariest movie you've ever
Yeah. I
seen.
ignore that
I'm
shit.
not
You
gonna
do
go
too,
that
right?
far. Yeah, I'm no. Settle the fuck
Right.
down. All right.
Right.
Right. Settle down. But upon us all watching it, it was almost universally. I mean, there was obviously some people that didn't enjoy it, but universally, everybody was kind of like, "This is legit.
Yeah.
This is one of the best reimaginings we've seen, if not the best." And it is a very worthy successor to the original 2 films, Army of Darkness, and then everything else that's been involved in the canon of the series. So I was actually looking for. I haven't revisited it since then.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't rewatched it since the original. I think I watched it in the theater,
Yep.
and then I watched it on DVD or Blu-ray when it first came out,
Okay.
and I haven't watched it
Oh,
again since.
interesting.
So I haven't watched it in probably 9 years.
Okay. Okay. I think I end up watching this maybe once a year, every other year, something like that. So,
Okay. Okay, so you've seen it multiple
At
times.
at least once every year in the last, let's say, 5 years. So 5 times tops. Not
5 or
not
so, okay.
counting.
It's probably, for knowing you, it's probably more like
That's
6 or
true.
7.
Not counting in the theater when I actually got off my ass. And
So
went to see it.
so you've seen it at least 12 times, is what you're saying.
Yes, 2012 times.
Okay. So I was looking forward to going back and rewatching this because I can go either way. I can get soured on something that I truly loved when I first saw it for a number of reasons, or I can be like, yeah, this is everything that I thought it
Yeah.
was. So here is, I know Scream Factory put out a new version of this. So whoa,
Check this out. If you have a beer-
whoa, none of that. None
No,
of
I don't know
that.
what that was. We don't
I
need
just
that.
turned it to a-
I'm
No,
not
it's-
checking out whatever that
hang
guy
on.
wants me to. He's probably pulling down his pants.
All right. Here we go.
Please. Please. You have to get me out of here. Leave this book alone. You don't understand. There was something in the woods. And I think it's in here with us now.
You're all going to die tonight.
I read a passage from that book. I released some evil. Oh my God! Why did you do that?
We're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.
All right. Evil Dead 2013.
There's a weirdly long trailer.
Yeah. It was actually less than 2 minutes though. believe it
That's
or not.
strange. It felt weirdly long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It started with a lot of talking, which generally you don't see in trailers.
You know what happens. It happens. I'm trying to remember who I saw this with. I can't imagine Mel went to see this with me.
No.
I can't. I mean, maybe, but I remember sitting in the theater and watching this and just kind of being like, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And then maybe something with me, and this is if this kind of I want to say that I think all of our listeners, or like 95% plus of our listeners, have seen this before. I wondered, and this is what I was thinking going into this, how much my likes have changed in movies and specifically horror movies since this was
Okay.
released. Because sometimes those things kind of change and you don't realize it.
True.
And this is a heavy fucking movie.
Yeah.
This is not. And one of the interesting things about this Evil Dead series, as it's kind of gone on, is there's kind of these two worlds. There is the original Ash, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi world that is very much got one foot in the comedic side of horror films.
Yes.
Even though it's loud, it's gross, it's harsh, but like there's definitely like still large comedic elements. I mean, Army of Darkness is essentially, I mean, it's a horror comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more a comedy than
but
horror,
then-
if we wanted to balance
So
it.
anything that's got Bruce Campbell involved in it, which is everything except for this film, Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise, is got that comedy, and that's a Bruce Campbell thing. I feel like he brings that
Yeah.
regardless.
Well, and
But
Sam.
Evil Dead-
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sam. But so this 2013 Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise are so far from that.
Yes. Because they find somebody said, hey, you know what these Evil Deads are missing? Evil. Actual
Brutality.
evil. And then they went, hold my iced matcha latte. We're going to do this. And then they went and made this.
How many-
And it was like
How many buckets of blood did you order? Whatever it was, double
all
it.
of them. I ordered all of them.
Well, double it.
Okay.
Double it.
I'll double it twice.
So this 2013 version is directed by Fede Alvarez. He also wrote and adapted the screenplay for it. Some of the original producers from the original Evil Dead series are involved here. It's starring Jane Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, Jessica Lucas, Lou Taylor Pucci, Elizabeth Blackmore, and Phoenix Conley. This is essentially the same story as Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, because let's not forget, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just bigger budget for the second one, some tweaks. Mm-hmm. This is essentially looking at that the same way, but with a completely different set of eyes.
Right.
So, Fede Alvarez has gone on to work on Don't Breathe. He wrote Don't Breathe. He worked on The Girl in the Spider's Web. He did the story for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he's been hitting. He's been hitting since this came out. I think Don't Breathe is excellent. I really enjoyed Don't Breathe.
Which one is that?
The one with the blind guy.
Oh, the rapist? I already had a rape
maybe.
seller, so I never bothered watching it. And then they tried to make him into a good guy in the sequel.
I didn't see the sequel,
I think Don't Breathe is like the everybody's the asshole. If this was a Reddit discussion, everybody in that movie's an asshole.
Oh yeah. There's no redeemable characters in that movie.
But unlike this one, there are people that want to do the right thing. And
Right.
they are
Correct.
corrupted, and it's really neat to watch.
Yeah, it's the basic story of the character of Mia. She is trying to get herself clean. She's had a drug addiction thing. She's definitely got some mental health stuff going on. So her and a group of friends, including her brother, David, Olivia, Eric, and Natalie, they are bringing Mia up to this cabin in the woods, which is the cabin from the original film, sort of. It's meant to be, though, I think, right?
I don't think so. I'm gonna find out. I don't think it is.
Because they drive by the car.
They do.
The car's there.
They do. But it's
Well,
a
same
different.
area
But it's
then,
a
at
different
least.
book.
So
So
that's one of my things I do love about the series is the different styles of the Necronomicons that they come across.
I'll look
this
it up.
one
while
might
you
be my favorite.
Keep talking. I'll
Okay.
look it up.
So they're bringing Mia there to help her get off of drugs. She's got to get through the dope sickness. And they get to they get there and they're looking around and just kind of seeing what's going on. They go into one of the shed and they find the book. Or it was the basement, not the shed, I'm sorry. And they find all this kind of crazy shit, chicken bones, fucking shit hanging from the ceiling, like all kinds of crazy stuff.
Dead cats. A lot of dead cats.
Pretty much all of the dead cats. They were like, hey, how many dead cats did you order? Double.
Yeah, call PETA. Get all the ones they have. That's too many.
We're not gonna do them in ourselves.
It's too many dead cats.
Yep.
Shouldn't have called PETA. They're monsters. Okay.
So they come across the book, the Necronomicon. It's wrapped up in barbed wire and like a very like tough looking black plastic,
Yeah.
like an industrial like construction type trash bag type looking
Yeah,
thing.
we're definitely in Silent Hill plastic bag territory there.
Yeah, it's like and he's so
And
like,
it's
the guy that
tarred together. Isn't it tarred to
Yes.
it? That's a great
Yep.
touch. Yeah.
it's very much if you were to come across this, you would pick it up and be like, oh, somebody does not want me to look at
Yeah,
this. This is not something I should fuck around
I'd
with.
still take it.
But at the same time, just like this guy, just like Eric does, you want to know what the fuck's in there.
Goddamn right I would open it.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I think everybody would. Like, this is probably, this is a bad
Yeah.
idea, but I can't not look at
If
this.
you've lived your entire life with no evidence of the supernatural and a book says don't read this book, fuck you, I'm reading it out loud. Twice.
Yeah. Just to make sure you rise, whatever you need to rise.
And if I made a mistake, oh well, at least I have proof now.
Yeah, and so, they're trying to help her. He's looking through the book, and just like in the whole anything else in the series, he reads a passage from it, and it releases the evil in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And they, and unfortunately for Mia, who she's preyed upon by it first because she's the weakest of them.
Have we ever talked about that? Like what allows the Deadites to take over somebody?
I don't think we have.
I think read a bunch. I've watched a bunch of videos where it seems like the person has to be physically damaged for them to get some kind of foothold in them.
Something to allow them in.
Yeah, they can hurt them like they did with what's her name? Ash's girlfriend when it smashes through the window and just kind of attacks her, like the broken glass was enough because she may have been more weak-willed than Ash was. Ash is obviously the strongest against them, but everybody in this one and the next one is only able to be possessed after they're injured, like their skin is some kind of holy protection, and once there's a hole in it, whether it's a scrape or a stab wound, they get in, which really makes them more evil. Because it's just brutal beatings sometimes.
So the Deadites dig their nails in deep to poor Mia.
Yeah.
The scene where she's out in the woods and the tree branches are going everywhere. I mean, it's brutal stuff, man. This film's fucking brutal. Watching it now.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I was going to save this to later in the review, but I'll get it out now. Like, as I've gotten older, I'm having a harder time with the brutality and violence in certain types of situations and films.
It depends for me, yeah.
Yeah, and I know you and I have talked about that, especially with like the rape stuff in a lot of the Italian movies, but like that stuff for whatever, like I can separate from, but like the violence in this made my skin go cold, like as I was watching it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't enjoy it nearly I don't enjoy it at all now. Like, and I can't say that I ever was like, I've never been a big gore hound, but I could appreciate that stuff. But now I really have a much, much harder time. And I don't know, maybe it's because I was sick or maybe I don't know what it was, but I definitely could not handle. I mean, I could handle it. Like I watched it. I didn't have to like turn it off and like go away, but I was just like, oh man, I'm like, this isn't for me anymore.
Yeah, this one I feel different about. When it's a supernatural thing, it's a lot easier for me to accept it than if it's just a human against a human.
Right. I can understand that.
That I have a hard time with. Here in this one, when people are being assholes or they're being jerks, like this is movie comeuppance. So it's like, the dude was a dick and he read out of the book, but he didn't deserve to be stabbed in the face with a syringe all those times. No. I mean, I wanted to punch him a little bit every time I saw him, but like
that was just his face.
That was his face and his attitude. Like, dude, it's 2013. Why are you dressed like you walked off the set of like Sweet Sweetback's Badass Revenge or whatever?
He looked like a failed cult leader that now like taught at like Stanford.
Yeah, the psychology of manipulation.
At Stanford. Yeah, he was like a TA in a sociology class. I couldn't get my cult off the ground, so I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah. There's one scene in this movie that fascinates me so much. I watch it over and over again. After Mia's car accident, and she's in the water, it's this still shot of her looking like out on the water. There's not a ripple, nothing's moving, no wind or anything. So obviously it was filmed inside. And then this log that you think is a log pushes herself up out of the water, and it's evil Mia. And she was underwater, not moving that whole time. That's amazing. That's a great shot.
No, it is. It's very good.
So this movie had a lot of surprising stuff in it that was just visually entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think its time of release did it a really good favor too, because this was right around the beginning of that, as I put the air quotes up, the elevated horror.
Oh yeah.
Stuff was really becoming into its own. And this is like kind of in that spot, but then it just gets so brutal and so violent and so harsh. It's almost like a slap in the face. Yeah. Like you're kind of feeling like they're going this way with it, and then it just fucking grabs you by the balls and twists. Like it's just like, oh, are you comfortable right now? Yeah. Hang on, let me turn them again. Yeah, because we're gonna make you very, very uncomfortable, and it's 100% purposely. Yeah, just like the part with the glass where she like licks the glass and just like.
Oh, the razor blade, the
razor blade,
the box cutter, from the trailer. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, I'm like my skin is crawling watching.
Yeah,
it
and it did its job. It did a great job. That's exactly what it should do.
the fact that the rest of the series is so comedic
Well,
makes
up
it
to this
hit even
point.
harder. Well, yeah. But I know because like there is no like Alvarez didn't get a franchise out of this. They did the Evil Dead TV show,
Yeah.
which goes back to the comedic Ash character.
True.
And it took another 10 years to get another feature made in the Evil Dead franchise.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Alvarez didn't have anything to do with it, which is again surprising because this film did really well. It made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was universally loved for the most part by horror fans, and even some like mainstream critics were like, "This is
It lives up to its
it's
name.
got something here." Yeah, like, and I think that was part of it too. Is just like, it's finally kind of the Evil Dead movie that I think a lot of people didn't know they wanted to go along with. Because at that time, 2013, I mean, there was different like Halloween remakes and just
Right.
like
Saw
we'd
had
gotten
kind
through
of
the-
petered out by
Saw,
that
yeah,
point.
Saw was hitting its final legs. The Purge was, I think, kind of getting going.
Yeah, but even that was tame. Like the I expected
comparison?
not the first one, but the one where they expand out on the first one. I enjoyed as a family horror psychological kind of thing because it's all about one house. But once they extended out to the government, it was like, all right, this should be way more disturbing. Oh, that's the thing. The fucking piece of shit hipster dude was the main guy in Spring, so that's why I don't hate him.
Oh yeah.
I hate him in this, but that just shows to me how good an actor he is, where he can like just go to the shittiest barista personality he could find. And I gotta say, to Jane Levy, I didn't watch Suburgatory. Is that the show she was on?
Oh,
I haven't seen her in much, but I know she played, lighter, like comedy type characters. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. That's a show she was on. But the way in the trailer, the way she's whispering to her brother and the fear that she is it's just oozing out of her. It looks like she's really terrified. I think that horror movies, I know, we all know horror movies are completely ignored when it comes to acting. I think that Jane had a few really, really well acted parts in here, but it just reminds me of Toni Collette and how she got fucking screwed for Hereditary. Horror movies are, I think, a genre where you can show every facet of human emotion.
for sure.
And I think that it's a shame and a crime that a lot of those have gone unnoticed.
Right.
So,
I agree with you. I think the Mia character is honestly, I think the Mia character is the only one in the movie that really matters. Everybody else is kind of just there to get murdered.
yeah, that follows in the footsteps of the first two.
Right, but I think the one mistake with this movie that I kind of wish was kind of fleshed out a little bit more was at least the brother character. There's really not a lot we're not given, and maybe it's because the violence gets ramped up so early in the film. Like we don't really get a chance to know the characters at all before shit hits the fan.
True.
So
Yeah, there's
maybe that's part of it.
hanging around, having drinks, eating dinner kind of stuff. It's just immediately, Mia's fucking sick. Let's lock her in a room.
Right, and then she's like possessed like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, and I was
So it's-
really hoping from the first 10 minutes of this that they would really play into the whole withdrawal symptoms. Is it demons? Is it the heroin or whatever? But then now listening to you talk about it, I've kind of rethought it. And the fact that you think it's going to be about that, they put so much. The drugs are just a reason to get her unstable and in an unfamiliar setting. That's it. There's nothing else. There's the whole drug thing goes out the window after the car crash. And
Yeah.
like the characters talk for a second. They're like, oh, well, this is normal. She's going to want to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, she's got a monster from another dimension inside of her and it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm okay now with how fast they dropped the subterfuge they could have used of withdrawals versus demonic possession. But yeah, this isn't the kind of movie to explore it. Last Exorcism
No.
3 would be, but
Right. So I mean, it's solid in the way. I mean, there's no humor. There's no like ridiculous camera shit going on.
no, the dog doesn't even make it out. That's how
No.
dark this is.
Yeah. I mean, there's no fun in this movie. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's gory. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But it's not faking it.
No.
So you know what I mean? Where like I think sometimes Saw, as brutal and gory as the Saw movies are, like they're kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever watched a woman saw away at her cheek with a shattered mirror? Just to do it, not to freak anybody out. She just in the bathroom cutting away at her cheeks.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and the boiling water. Oh my God, that was everything in that bathroom everything in this movie was horrific, and I love it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's give this one a grade. Chris, do you recommend, and what is your grade for Evil Dead 2013?
Yes, at this point for the Evil Dead series, I'm going to recommend part 2, 3. That's Army of Darkness, the TV show, and this. I'm going to recommend those. Not part 1.
Everything so far except for the original.
Yeah, not a fan of that. I mean, I get it.
Not
It's
really,
a great rough draft, and I'm glad he made part 2 so we could see what he really had wanted to do. But goddamn, the effects are difficult to sit through.
Especially seeing what he was able to do with the sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could take the original on its own, it's a different situation, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Why should I watch his first attempt when I can watch what he considers the better of the two?
Right.
So, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a B+ skirting an A- because it really does live up to its name. And I think it's a great entry into the franchise, which should be disjointed because it's about a book and monsters, not about a person that can only be in one place at one time.
Okay.
So,
okay. All right.
why can't it be about
So-
other people than Ash, even though he showed up at the end of this?
I hate that.
That was hedging their bets. That was Pascal's wager at the end of this movie, I think.
I hate it because it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything.
Not at all.
So if any of you guys, for whatever reason, haven't seen this, if you watch this film and you watch it all the way through the credits, at the very end, Bruce Campbell's silhouette comes up and he just looks at the camera and says groovy.
Yeah. It's like he was activated by the book or something. I don't know. What
No,
we
see,
were
that doesn't
going
even
with.
make any sense. That sounds fucking stupid.
It is stupid. I'm not arguing that with you. Putting him in that
Doesn't need to be
movie,
there.
I feel, took away from
Agreed.
that movie being on its own and being something. If you want to put Bruce Campbell in your Evil Dead movie, you do what the next one did. Because he's in it. I bet you didn't notice.
Oh, I noticed.
Did you?
No. No, I didn't. All right. So, I mean, I'm going to recommend it also. What I definitely did notice, though, for me watching it now, I don't have the enjoyment in heavy, brutal, dark flicks that are this level that I did 10 years ago when this came out. I still enjoyed it. I definitely winced at it more than I probably did 10 years ago, made my skin crawl more than it did 10 years ago. But that you know what? That's exactly what they're going for.
Yeah. Yeah, they
So I
achieved it.
can't. Yeah, I can't take that away. So I think I graded this an A- when we talked about it when it first came out.
Okay.
I'm dropping it down to probably a straight B.
Okay. That's still pretty high.
I
though.
wanted more
Yeah.
No, it's still a very, very good grade. I think I wanted more from the brother character.
Okay.
And I think they also could have maybe done a little bit more with them learning about the history of the book and stuff.
Yeah.
Just little things, but they're minor things overall. Like, it's still very good. It's one of the best horror movies probably from the last 15, 20 years. And it succeeds in everything it wants to do still 10 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. It so far is holding up.
Yes, agreed. Okay. Evil Dead Rise. Available to watch on Max or Prime Video if you want to check it out now. I do love how quickly stuff gets to streaming services now, let me tell you.
Yeah. I am a fan.
Big fan. So, all right, here's the trailer for this.
I'm going to grab a drink.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
No matter how busy you ever got, you always found time for me. I can't believe I'm never gonna speak to you again.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother,
What is this, Danny?
I found it.
what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me.
It's me.
Don't let it take my babies.
This is what happened to Paul. It happened to us.
This evil creates terror through total chaos.
Future's not ours to see.
All you can do is run.
I'm getting us out of here.
You'd be a good mom someday, Honey Bath.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids. Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
What will be, will be.
Eeny, meeny, miny. You.
Okay. Evil Dead Rise. 2023, directed by Lee Cronin, written by Lee Cronin. I know nothing about Lee Cronin. He did a flick, Hole in the Ground in 2019, Ghost Train in 2013. Oh, he did a short for that 50 States of Fright. Minutes Past Midnight. I'm not familiar with anything he did before this.
I think I've seen that.
Hole in the Ground?
I think I did, but unless there's another one about a woman whose backyard
Irish flick?
was dug up. Yeah, it was.
Okay,
it was
yeah.
UK kind of thing, like the woman's
Because he's from Ireland.
backyard was dug up, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, holy shit! Talk about effectively coming out of nowhere.
I guess,
he's
yeah.
done a bunch of work, but he was not a big name, or
No,
she.
not on
Is it
anyone's
a
radar,
he or
really.
she? I'm not guessing with the name.
He. It's a he.
Yep, I see that.
So the story in this, you got two strange sisters, Teresa and Jessica. They are separated because of their lifestyles. And one is kind of like a guitarist and a guitar tech and kind of lives the roadie touring lifestyle. The other is a single mom whose husband has left. She's got 3 children of ages like 17, 15, and like 10 or so. They live in the city. It's supposed to be Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
I feel like
100%
there's a couple
sure.
LA things, which wouldn't make sense because it pours the entire time and it doesn't rain in LA.
Well, I don't know. Weather's been real fucking weird the last year, so
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
let me see if I can find out where it's supposed to be, because I do remember, but it's not coming to me. If that makes sense.
So the film opens with the classic Evil Dead of like house in the woods.
Yep.
Cabin in the woods.
People
somebody
having
there has
fun.
got it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Well, no, before we got off the dock, there was a little bit of fun. Beautiful fake out, a nice high tech fake out of a low tech way of doing things. That was good.
Yep. Using the drone to make you think something
Yep.
that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But one of the people in the cabin is sick. They think that she's just sick. She's got the Evil Dead. She's got the Deadite.
Yes.
So she
LA.
kind of runs LA. Yeah, I thought so. So she kind of runs through the people there, and there's this great shot where she goes into the water and then kind of rises up out of the water as you get the title.
One of
Evil
the
Dead Rise Low.
best titles
Yeah, it looked awesome.
shots I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, looked excellent.
Way it
Looked
reflects
excellent.
off the water. You get a little bit off the person too. It's just knocked it out of the park. At that point, I'm like,
quality.
okay.
Quality rendering work there.
Yeah.
I will add.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And then we realized that we get a shot then going into the city where it says 24 hours earlier.
Yeah, and it's like that
think.
fake out from the other one where you have the girl burned in the basement.
Yep.
And it's haha, now it's over here.
So we then meet the family.
Mm-hmm.
And we know there's a lot of problems going on. We meet the sister. She's at the club with the band, and then we find out that she's pregnant. So she's going to come home and stay with her sister, Ellie. And you got the kids, Bridget, Danny, and Cassie. And you can tell that there's just a lot of tension between the sisters, and they love each other, but there's a lot of like, what the fuck, man, going on between the two of them, going both ways too. We don't really get what this one does that the other one didn't do is it does give you enough of that character explanation so that you kind of feel for the people you need to feel, and you kind of feel for everybody in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was the opposite of the other one, where it's like you didn't feel anything for anyone.
Yeah.
All of the characters, you get a moment in this for you to feel for them.
Yeah, and the other thing this one does that the others really didn't is you're introduced to characters that already have this long-standing internal conflict, and they're sniping at each other and they're throwing little barbs in when they can just to push buttons. And then when they're taken over by the Deadites, you're not sure if it's started or not yet because they're a little mean. And then it's just a great way to show like how close you are to just being the worst person you could be. It's a nice little bad reflection back at the people. Because if you don't know if a Deadite said it or your sister, there's a problem in your relationship.
Yeah.
But that's what it needed. It needed that little bit of confusion for the character of like, why would you say that to me? And then you look at them and their face is bleeding out of every pore and you're like, oh, okay.
So they kind of need to work out their shit. She sends the kids out to get a pizza. It's Los Angeles, so of course a earthquake hits. We know they're already in kind of like a rundown apartment building that half the shit doesn't work in the apartment building as it is. They're clearing the place out. They're making people move, all that stuff.
Yep.
During this earthquake, though, it opens up a long lost like vault in the basement of the building. The kids are in the garage when it happens. They go down. They get into the vault. They open the vault and they look and they find what we know is the Necronomicon. They don't know what it is. It just looks like this crazy fucking sick book at the time.
Yeah.
What'd you like? Did you like the design of this one?
I'm going to have to look at it again because
It had the teeth on the side and stuff. They had to open up.
oh, no, it looked too much like the Harry Potter monster manual book.
It looked hokey to me.
It did with the
Like,
teeth on
it
the
was
side.
it looked
Yeah.
tried too hard.
Yeah.
It was tried too hard.
A little bit, yeah. But that's whatever. Fine. So some extremist made this.
Right. But I do love that it opens up that Evil Dead world of there's multiple books. I mean, the last one kind of opens it up too, but there's multiple
this
books.
confirmed
They could be
it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be anywhere at any time.
Yeah. And there are
so he
three.
finds-
They specifically say there are three, and this is what I've been waiting to get to. So,
Okay.
in Army of Darkness, Ash has to choose between three different Necronomicons. And he has to pick the right one. Now, is the right one the one that he used before, or is the right one a different one? Is it Is it Jane Levy's Necronomicon? Is it Alice Wetterland's Necronomicon? Or is it Ash's Necronomicon? I think that ties the whole story, all of the movies and TV show together. There are, as of recording of the albums that were found with this Necronomicon, there were 3.
Yep.
And that's great because now all of the movies can stand alone as being part of the same story. I know that doesn't make sense the way I said it. But
I get you. I get you.
but they are all connected. So Evil Dead, the one we just reviewed, could take place in Ash's house, and it could be owned by Mia's parents because, as time goes, it also wasn't Ash's house. It was the Nobies. So the Nobies could have sold it after all that shit went down there.
Yep.
Or family of them. And it could be the same house. And it just called. And another Necronomicon showed up. Why not? Who gives a shit? The other one was lost in time.
I mean, you've got to split hairs. You got to split hairs.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes the albums. He finds a group of album recordings with it, and the kid Danny is, he's like a budding DJ type kid. So anytime at that age, any vinyl you can get your hands on, you're gonna grab.
Yeah.
So he brings it back upstairs. And is like, hey, doesn't tell anyone he has it. He puts on the records,
Right.
and then the book opens up, and the teeth cut his finger, and of course the blood ends up on the page and
Because it
releases
damaged him. Yep. There you go.
Yep, damaged him. Released the evil.
Yep.
And I did like the sounds of the recordings, the how he had to like speed it up because it wasn't the right speed.
Yeah.
And like
Little
there was
stuff
some
like
cool
that
stuff going
is
on there.
really, really smart and really makes the experience real for me. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that is where Bruce Campbell is. He's on those recordings. He's the one that's yelling at them that they shouldn't do this. But he's not Ash.
He's somebody else.
But he's in it. Yeah. So he's in every Evil Dead movie. But
Interesting.
This is how I like him being in there. Ash doesn't matter. Bruce Campbell matters to me,
right.
not Ash.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So the evil gets out and it goes after the mother.
Yep.
Because she's damaged.
Yeah.
She's damaged mentally.
Right.
Because the husband's left. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's struggling. Keys in on her, throws her across the hallway and into the elevator. And she's fucking DED dead.
Yeah.
So the family's like, what the hell happened? They bring her into the house. She's dead at this point. Like, and they're just like, everyone's losing their mind. They don't know what's going on. And then she comes back.
Yep. Why not?
Why not? I'm gonna be honest. I really love the setup in this, but once we got to this point, it lost me.
Okay. I'm
It did.
interested.
It lost me.
What happened?
So as it plays itself out, I mean, I don't think we need to go into too many specific details on this. It's still fairly new, and some of you guys might have not seen it, but it plays out in generalized Evil Dead fashion of like she's possessed by the Deadites. There is a lot of blood. There is a lot of gore, and I felt the same way about this watching this that I did the last one, whereas like it was making my skin crawl, but I didn't appreciate it the way that I appreciated it in the 2013 film.
Okay.
Because this felt, and it's kind of weird for me to say this because I said my issue with the last one was that the characterization wasn't there, and then I was like, this one starts with the characterization, but there's this weird kind of like flip-flop effect between the two, where this one, I'm like, all right, cool, now I care, but I feel like the gore that they're hitting me with and the weird shit that they're doing is like, where's it coming from? Like, I don't understand like where it's coming from. And I'm like, when the older daughter gets possessed, like that just kind of seems like it comes on full bore, full right away. Like, no, I'm like, that was too quick the way all that kind of went down. And like the neighbors being involved, and this is the first time out of any of the films, excluding the TV show,
Right.
that like there's other people outside of the home domicile
Yeah.
that are involved.
Yeah.
And, they bite it so quickly.
As they
Then I'm
should.
like, oh,
they are completely unprepared. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, all of this is just happening too much, too quickly. Whereas, like, at least in the other one, yeah, they ramp it up the violence right away. But, like, I felt like once we're there, there's, like, kind of like a steady stream. Whereas this is just, like, punching you in the gut and punching you in the face. And I'm not even having a chance to, like, register what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, this is too much, too quick.
Okay. Okay. So counterpoint. I watched it like this. Oh shit! Look at that. That was me. because I was down for it. I knew it was going to happen. I saw Alice Vetterlund or Wetterlund. I don't know how to say her last name properly. She has unique features. The way her face is constructed, she's very... If Hitler tried to make a sex robot, that would be her face. It would be a good start. She's very Eastern European looking, I should say. She has sharp features. She has a blade face, kind of like it looks like you could cut a piece of paper with her face. Does that make sense? She has sharp features.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful. I'm not shitting on her, but when you combine the features of her face and the angles with the Deadite makeup, it's unbelievable. She may be the best looking Deadite in any of these movies that I've ever seen. She nailed that role. That just made me happy. So I was all set for that, whatever. She looks great as a monster, doesn't she?
I thought the look was good, yeah. Yeah, I thought the look was good.
So, yeah. We can't give too much away, but they definitely...
Yeah, I don't want... Yeah.
They definitely play around with some of the stuff that's hinted at with the TV series, and they kind of run with it a little bit. There's stuff that's outside the realm of what we've seen before, but I'm okay with it because it's disturbing, and they're evil dead, not mildly annoying or, possibly irritating dead. They are evil. And
yeah, it's this film hits its points with its darkness, its brutality, and it's not really very much stuff played off for it. There's a couple little comedic parts, but it's not played off comedic in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I appreciate the kind of the homage that's paying to the original two or the original three, and those little stuts. But I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know if it felt kind of soulless to me. And then once they get out of the apartment and they end up down in the garage downstairs, and I'm like, now I feel like I'm watching a fucking Fast and the Furious movie with the amount of fucking action and shit that's going on and craziness that's happening. And I think that's where this movie probably loses me the most, because everything that has come before it has been this small cabin.
Yep.
This is, you're trapped here. Yes, you get outside of the cabin a little bit, but you're not going anywhere.
True.
And you ended up back at the cabin. And this is the first one where they don't end up back where they started. And they just kind of go.
Yeah.
And it's a different feel. I just wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it.
Okay. On the other hand,
on the other side of the hand,
when they moved outside of the apartment and neighbors were introduced and all this stuff that was outside of what had come before, TV show notwithstanding, because the whole thing takes place outside of his trailer pretty much.
Right. I kind of take the TV show as something different because I know it's part of the canon, but
it's fun. It's a fun show, but yeah, you don't have to watch it. Definitely don't watch it and expect that from these last two movies.
Right.
I was more into what they were going to do when they moved outside of what they had done before. So I was the opposite of you. I'm like, oh, okay, good. We're going out in public with this shit now. Let's go. Because I can't control the way it's going to go, right? So I might as well just either shut it off or be in for it, right?
Right.
So I think that's where I'm at now. I was watching this Resident Evil CG movie, Dead Island or something. This fucking Alcatraz crap with Resident Evil. And the dialogue, I don't know if it was written in another language and then translated through Google Translate. But there was this one bad guy, and he was just spouting this edgelord philosophical first year bullshit. And I shut it off. I'm like, this was written by a 16-year-old that learned who Nietzsche was yesterday. Fucking come on. So that stuff I get frustrated with, but this one, the last time we had one of those Bond cold opens in an Evil Dead, it did connect. So that was in the back of my head, and I'm like, well, they got to get to that lake somehow. Why else would they show that?
I liked how they did that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think definitely as I dropped my tuner. I think as we get older, we're definitely honing in on the stuff we like, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with watching something and being like, yeah, no, that wasn't what I wanted it to be. You know, nobody needs to get pissed about it and yell at Ghostbusters can't be girls or whatever fucking bullshit we are now. So yeah, like I like that it did that. You didn't. And that's the spirit of this show, isn't it?
Yes, the spirit. All right, Chris, do you recommend and what is your grade for 2023's Evil Dead Rise?
I am going to recommend this, and I would like to give this just an A- because it came out of literally nowhere for me. I had no idea this was being made. I didn't know who the people were in it because I didn't watch Vikings. And I definitely didn't remember Alice from that piece of shit TV show, The Mist. Don't look it up. Don't watch it. At all. So I had no expectations at all going into this. And then I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, the voice is good when she says mommies with the magnets. Magnets. How do they work? Mommies with the maggots now. That just kind of lumped together in my mouth. I'm like, okay. All right. She looks beat up pretty good. She's looked like she's invested in the role. I think we're good. And it was such a surprise.
Mommies with the maggots now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Not bad. Not bad.
So, yeah. I'm going to give this the same as the other one. I like both the same amount. So,
okay.
B+, skirting an A-. I would love to see the infection, the deadite infection spread in the next one. Because now they're out. You don't need the book at this point. So I'm interested to see if they do something else. Yeah.
Chris, you ignorant slut.
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
That's Jane Levy, not.
I obviously didn't enjoy this as much as the 2013 one, but I do appreciate what they were trying to do. And I didn't like. I'm not like, oh, I hated it. Like,
Right.
But I definitely was looking for something else, or I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know, and it just didn't hit me the way that I would like for it to. With that said, though, I am going to still give it a recommend if you like the series. Like, if it's like, don't start here. Like,
No.
This is not the one to start with. But I think if you're into the series, it's definitely got some good stuff to it, and there's some good effects. I think the makeup is really good.
Yeah.
The soundtrack and like the score is actually quite effective too, I thought.
Yeah.
But overall, it just didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. A little too violent, not enough people, like, going on, not enough people, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a C+. I'll give it a C+ because there is a lot of good stuff going on there. And there wasn't any point where I was like, oh, I got to turn this off.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I always did want to see what was going to happen next.
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not so totally on board, but maybe they can rebound.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
But a C+, I think, is a still pretty respectable score. So
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if you were to average them out, I mean, every movie we review either gets an A, an F, or a C. So
no, there's a lot of D's. I do allow the D's.
True. Okay, so change the C to a D. It's a D, C, and B. That's where
I actually don't really give out a lot of C's. Yeah, I'm very much like D for dirt nap. Like, that's my thing. Like,
I would say if you're going to watch the Evil Dead series, my suggestions would be to watch 2, 3 TV show, Jane Levy one, and then the new one in that order.
all right.
Get all
And
your
then
Bruce
maybe-
Campbell out of the way. There are some fantastic looking demons in the TV show, especially the first one that they summoned. They did some video effects to him that really make him interesting. Not unlike anything I've ever seen. You can only do it video. Really, really neat.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's our take on the Evil Dead of the new millennium.
Yeah. Give me
All right,
more.
cool. So this is episode 100, but we're going back to our regular format here. So for the first time in like 7 weeks, you're going to get to hear Joe and you're going to get to hear Scott. I don't even remember what series Joe was watching.
Hold on.
What was he? Was he watching The Grudge? No, he was done with The Grudge, right?
You gave him something new, didn't you?
I don't know. Well, let's hit the button and find out.
Huh.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me to fucking Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scranton.
He made me watch 2020's The Grudge. This is
Oh,
going to
it's
be a
okay.
weird one.
Okay.
Sometimes, for no real reason, I just wake the fuck up way before it's reasonable to do so. I've mentioned it a few times. This happens to me maybe, I don't know, once or twice a week. Now, normally it's just like, oh, I'm awake maybe 30 minutes before my alarm goes off. No big deal, right? Just means I can go about my morning with an extra cup of coffee and 0 sense of rush. This morning, however, the universe poked me awake at 10 minutes to 4 a.m.
No.
Wouldn't let me go back to sleep
Too early.
and asked me if I wanted to watch a scary movie.
Oh, that's fine.
That last part was more me because I could have done anything with my time, but I didn't fancy mowing an acre and a half of lawn before even a sliver of daylight had shown itself.
That is fair.
Here's something even weirder. I'm only about 15 minutes into The Grudge, and the vibe that they have created is so odd and cool and intriguing that it sucked me in better and quicker than any of the other films. Now, whether that's a product of the movie itself or sleep deprivation, well, that remains to be seen. We're in Pennsylvania, a place notorious for its, let me check my notes, Japanese revenge ghosts. Yeah.
That was the problem I had living
So,
there.
okay. Some lady is a caretaker at the house from the original film. I don't remember them ever mentioning like another Pennsylvanian caretaker, but anyway, she gets spooked back to one of the most boring states, and instead of duty-free sake and some great wrestling DVDs, she just brings back these ghosts like an extra piece of carry-on. Fantastic, lady. In terms of unwanted things that attach themselves to you, these fucking ghosts are like the spiritual version of the disease from Cabin Fever. Like, they don't give a fuck that you had nothing to do with anything. You only committed the crime of coming into contact with someone, and boom, now you gotta deal with this. It's like the opposite of fuck around and find out. Like, I distinctly did not fuck around. Why am I now finding out?
Yeah.
Oh, Lynn Shay just showed up, and that is always a good thing. Oh,
Lynn Shay
I
just
figured
walked
it out.
across my
Why
street.
the
Like,
really
she's
cool,
everywhere.
really weird look of this movie hooked me. This was made in 2020. Now, I might not be the biggest fan of horror movies from the last handful of years, but there's one thing about them that definitely gets my stamp of approval. They all look amazing. In the late 90s and early aughts, everything was so, like, crisp and slick and neat and orderly. And then people who are fans of 70s horror movies got back into the horror business, and oh, look, color and light and setting a mood makes a big-ass difference. Who knew?
Oh,
Well, we did.
yeah.
We knew.
I knew.
I just had a thought.
Uh-oh.
If you knew there was a house with some grudge ghosts, and you were maybe, say, connected, like maybe you're a business person from the greater New York or New Jersey area, a legitimate business person, like, I don't know, maybe you own a concrete business, and you had a problem that needed to go away, like some sort of agent of a regulatory agency. Just ask them to meet you at that address, and boom, the asshole ghosts will do away with your problem because they committed the crime of being in a place and you didn't commit shit. There's one weird thing going on here that I can't get over. We're flashing back and forth between 2004 to about 2006. Like all the Grudge movies, they're telling about 3 different stories that I'm sure at some point will all intertwine. But everyone is driving around cars like it's 1986. It's weird. One of the 2 cops who are sort of our main characters drives around in one of those old Crown Victorias that seemed to only exist for cops to drive around in.
Yep.
John Cho is a realtor selling the scary house, and he's driving around the same model of station wagons that my parents owned in the early 80s, complete with wood paneling on the side. Fucking wood paneling. If it's good enough for every finished basement in the 80s, let's slap it on the side of our fucking jalopy-ass station wagon.
Yeah.
It's hard to give a blow-by-blow here with this film, as it was with all of the Grudge films, because there are a lot of characters, and as the story goes on, connections are made, and honestly, a lot of them got a little bit complex, like you really had to pay attention. So just trust me when I say this. This is a ghost story. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not. It is a ghost story, but they actually did a great job here of using the supernatural stuff to tell a story about obsession and grief and death and loss and pain, and how one of the things that really, really sucks about being a human being is dealing with it. In a chronological sense, after the lady comes back from Japan with the worst possible case of, hey, I got you something while I was there, and unalives her family, we have Frankie Faison and Lin Shaye, both actors that I absolutely love. They're an older couple, like in their mid to late 70s, and they're dealing with the wife's suffering ghost-based dementia. And there's like an assisted suicide worker with them. And it's just, honestly, I mean, I hate to be sappy here. It is an absolutely beautiful allegory for letting someone go without wanting to let them go.
Mm.
And then we have John Cho and Betty Gilpin as a husband and wife realtor team.
I like her.
Working on the most challenging Zillow listing ever, and she's dealing with complications with her pregnancy. The main cop lady, fresh off of losing her husband to cancer, and her partner, who already lost a previous partner to his obsession with the house, and the case, what they've seen, and the prior partner was played by William Sadler, who is another actor that I always love to see, and he is fantastic. And bottom line, the ghosts are manifested by severe trauma, and they kind of just pass it on and on and on ad nauseum. And it's really hard to make jokes about. So here's the thing, the good. Oh man, between the use of color and light to like match the mood of the scene, the acting, the judicious use of a really effective gore, the cast, the very realistic emotional complexity and how it made us deal with it as an audience, like this is far and away the best Grudge film. Like no question. No question at all. The bad. Oh, you mean besides giving me fucking nothing to make fun of?
Huh.
I mean, fuck, the best joke I could muster here was about wood paneling on a station wagon, for fuck's sake. Like, fuck you for making me feel feelings, movie. At least with the other films, I could poke at some things. Also, being the last Grudge film, I have to one last time, I promise, last time, why did nobody, anybody, somebody, when confronted with a physical entity that can put its physical hands on you to kill you, punch it in its goddamn face? It may not work. Hear me out. It may not work, but you tried. John Cho, when he's in the house by himself, hid in the closet like a child and died like a bitch. Listen, I would probably die too, by a ghost with a broken nose. The Grudge gets a big ol' pass. Great movie. Really, really enjoyed it. Which leads me to Bill. Billiam. Friend.
Yeah.
What's next?
I actually want him to watch the Japanese Grudge, at least the first one, to compare.
Okay.
All right. OTC Nation, you heard the man. I'll be back with that next week. Until then, be good, everyone. Punch a ghost in the face.
Yep.
Yeah, was it Ju-on is the original, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious how he feels about the differences between the US versions, and I'm not sure how many Japanese ones there was. It would be kind of cool if he was able to do those, and then maybe do the Japanese Ring films, and then they do, because there's that film that's Grudge versus the Ring.
Sadako versus Kayako or whatever her name is,
which was, if I remember, was terrible.
That's what I've heard, yes.
I definitely watched it. But I remember it being really, really bad. So there you go, Joe. You get some. Figure out what you want to do, and then let me know.
It's only two ghosts, completely unrelated, fighting each other for some reason when they're not even near each other. Did they get the Grudge Ghost to watch the video? And then Samara lived in the house?
Was there?
How many what?
How many Ringu movies was there?
Hold on.
4, 5? Because there was Ringu.
Right? And then probably a 0.
Yeah, I think Ringu 0. And then there was Rings.
The Ring franchise. There's Ring in 1991, Spiral in 95, Loop in 98. Those are the novels. So I should probably skip to films.
Yep.
Ring.
Yep.
Ring. Who's there? Racing is the third one. Rasen in 1998. Then Ring 2. The Ring Virus. Ring 0 Birthday. The Ring in 2002. The Ring 2. Sadako 3D. Sadako 3D 2, which is 9D. Jesus. Sadako versus Kako. Rings, Sadako, and then Sadako DX, which I think is a Nintendo version of her.
Wow.
And then there's Rings, the short film, and the television series Ring, the final chapter from 1999, and Rasen from 1999 as well. And then there's the video games, The Ring Terror's Realm, and The Ring Infinity. Also radio programs and soundtracks, and comics.
Jesus. All right, we got to talk about that. All right.
So good for Koji Suzuki.
Make that money.
Seriously. Good for him.
Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. Speaking of good for him, Reverend Scott, for the first time in a long time, is coming back to you right here, right now. And I'm sure this is going to be an extended, holy shit. Keep in mind, it was recorded back when episode 800 was supposed to happen.
Yeah. So
if he has any inconsistencies in the world, because, he's a man of the people, that would be why.
To celebrate the occasion, I'm taking this week off. Peace and love, guys.
Fuck that, it's episode 800!
That being said, it's just another episode.
Yep.
What? Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott. Oh, my nipples keep showing. I'm sorry,
That's
Chris.
right, I'm not looking.
Sure you are.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott.
Willingly eats human flesh.
Certainly no one's forcing me. And like I boomingly announced at the top of the episode, we are in the midst of episode 800, which obviously is a massive achievement. So naturally, I texted Bill for some ideas on what I should do for episode 800. And now, I'm doing exactly what he suggested, which was nothing, because he never told me. So now it's just me making all the decisions, doing whatever I want.
Yeah, why not? Let's do everything.
And by everything, I hope you mean the same thing that I always do. I'm no Ryan Johnson.
Nah, let's not subvert their expectation, whatever. Shit on them. Let's do that.
So that means just because it's a milestone show, you don't get off the hook for me giving out arbitrary grades for the reviews that you did for last week's films. And then, maybe if you're lucky, I'll talk about something that I've been watching as well. I mean, it's either that or I could just do a segment of old clips.
And sometimes it's a third option.
Nope, just the two. But really, just the one, because I'm too damn lazy to dig up all those old clips.
All right, fuck it. I guess this is what we're doing now.
The first movie you reviewed last week was Dark Waters. Ooh,
holy
spooky.
shit, really?
Tell us about it, Bill.
There's no who, there's no what, where, there's no why.
No.
Wow, creepy stuff. What do you think about it, Chris?
Dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But it looked really neat.
I'm having flashbacks of my Fast X review. But you know what Bill always says?
Every movie is somebody's favorite movie.
And by that, I mean that Dark Waters is Bill's favorite movie.
No.
So I give Dark Waters a C. But the review, that gets a B. Because there wasn't much substance, but you sure looked pretty doing it.
And it just goes downhill from there.
Straight on downhill to City on Fire.
City on Fire. What happened to them could happen to you. From Hasco Embassy, rated R.
I don't know if it could happen to you.
Oh, no, it can't, because this can never happen.
From the sound of it, this movie had it all. Cities, fire, you know, the works. And the best part of this movie was that it was realistically accurate, something that Chris really appreciated.
They got the fire hose. They're soaking everybody down so they can go through this until they get to the water tunnel that the fire truck set up. And this is what pissed me off about why they didn't have other fire departments. And they also didn't know where all the fucking fire hydrants were. All right, fine. You're only the fire department.
Kind of like not knowing
Holy
where all your
shit.
trailer clips are for your podcast. All right, fine. You're only a podcaster. Know what I mean?
I don't think so.
I myself love me a good disaster movie. Seeing national landmarks being destroyed, seeing Bill Pullman give a speech, seeing people narrowly escaping incredible destruction, seeing Bill Pullman give a speech. So I guess what surprised me was when both of you hated City on Fire. I mean, at least Bill did. Chris, he was a little more cryptic in his conclusion.
But do you recommend it, Chris?
No. Oh, that's what we're doing. No, I don't recommend this. This is fucking garbage. F.
I still don't know what he meant by that.
Dude, are you okay?
I'm just trying to be respectful to the diehard fans of this film. Because after all, it's like Bill always says.
Every band is somebody's favorite band.
Because you may not like Imagine Dragons, but that doesn't still mean they're not Bill's favorite band.
No.
So I respectfully give City on Fire an F for Fire, the director. And I give you review an A.
Yay.
But that only averages out to a C. Sorry.
Oh, you say you're sorry that this all happened, but then you don't do a fucking thing to make it better? Go fuck yourself.
Not just yet, Chris. I need to first tell you what I've been watching. And well, I could tell you how I'm about halfway through the second season of Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus, starring your boy Jason Sudeikis. I'm not sure how much there really is to say. I mean, it's a delightfully cheery show for the most part, full of laughs and, more importantly, amazing characters that really get fleshed out from episode to episode. And for those that don't know the premise, Ted Lasso is a U.S. football coach brought into a British football team to be the new head coach, despite Ted knowing virtually nothing about the culture or the game. This was done by the new owner, Rebecca, who acquired the team after a divorce from her cheating husband. A cheating husband who loved this team very much. So in an effort to really stick it to him, Rebecca hired Ted in hopes that he would unknowingly tank the future of the team, all while acting like nothing is wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot wrong, but like...
That's true.
But little does she know that the pure optimism and sheer will of Ted Lasso would overcome even the toughest of critics, even when the team isn't really even winning games. Little by little, he breaks down all of the defenses of his teams and management and learns more about himself in the process. Or something. I hardly remember due to the fact that I've been spending so much time on the old PS5 lately. I've barely dragged myself away from Diablo 4 long enough to even make this goddamn segment. It's borderline unhealthy. I mean, I can stop anytime I want. I just don't want to.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you tried Jesus?
No, fuck you, but thanks for asking. So anyway, I better wrap this up. I need to go do something constructive with my time, and by that I mean more Diablo 4, but happy episode 800, guys, and here's the 200 more, and then we call it quits at 1,000, because, like, Jesus Christ, give it a break already.
Come on. Really?
But make sure you all tune in to Outside the Cinema next week when Chris compares one of the movies to a penis after a cold shower.
And it was pathetic looking.
All that and so many more pathetic looking penises. But until then, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema, 800 episodes of pure joy.
Hopefully Chris likes nipples.
I don't mind them. I have wanted to record an EP with you. And the A side would be shimmy, shimmy, slide, shake, whatever. And the reverse side of that would be obviously a cover of Pet Sematary.
Not Call Me Knifey Cock?
Oh shit, now it's a 3-song EP.
And then the music comes back on. The shimmy, shimmy slide. Yeah. My heart's on fire because your hand's in my pants. I've had a couple beers and I really want to dance. Like Pet Cemetery. Yeah. My penis is a knife.
Oh, man.
The knife is his penis.
My knife is a penis. My knife is a penis. My knife is a penis.
The knife is his penis.
Call me Knifey Cock. My penis is a knife. My penis is a knife. My penis is a knife.
The knife is his penis.
Call me Knifey Cock.
Can you imagine him taking a shower? Oh
my
He's
God.
probably punching the walls and shit.
Call me Knifey Cock. Yeah.
Just having this guy just stark naked is such a surprise. It was a big surprise. One of the biggest things I've ever seen.
He's got a great ass.
Oh, well, there you have it. We can still do it. Even after taking a number of weeks off, we can bounce right back in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to cover next week. I just needed to get through today and then and figure it from there.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe to Dark Matters Films. Leave some comments for the Woodsman. We would really appreciate it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I have to go to the bathroom, so.
Me too. All right.
Everyone have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you very much for sticking with us.
Bye-bye.